Hi, everybody. John Cena here, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 23 of FunkQuest. And we're getting near the end of the second round of episodes, so you're probably getting a feel for which Funkster is your favourite. And we have two returning Funksters today for you to get your teeth into. And if this is the first time you've listened to the show, you'll kind of figure it out. But first up, I want you to tell Anne to tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I'm Anne Smith, and I live in Barrie, Ontario, Canada, which is right in the middle of Canada, pretty much. I am a professional actress and an amateur metal detectorist.
Yeah, we didn't get into that much last time, the metal detector. But maybe we'll get into it this time.
Cool.
Yeah. And you've got pink hair, which is kind of cool. If you were doing points, I'd give you a bonus point for that.
Oh, please do.
We'll see. The audience to decide. Pablo, tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I am Pablo Gonzalez. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, but I describe myself as a quintessential Miamian. I was born in Latin America, grew up in the U.S. I'm the most American person in my family. What I do is I have a content creation, community creation agency called Connect with Pablo. I'm trying to prove that the future of business development is community creation, and I'm just obsessed with relationships and making as many friends as possible because I think it is the way to have a rich life.
It certainly is, and depending when you listen to this, it depends on what state the world is at in terms of corona things. And what we've got over here is that there's a real swing back to local small stores, because if we don't support local small stores and coffee shops and things like that, then we're going to just left with the supermarkets and we won't have any choice at all. Anyway, listen, a couple of rule changes to tell you about. The first rule change is that each Funkster can pick their own icon, and they're don't have to pick the icon which the previous Funkster chose. Still get a minute. And the second rule change is that it's a different mechanism for voting, and I'll tell you about that when we get to the end of the show. But don't go worrying that you haven't got a pencil or a piece of paper handy, because it's a bit different to vote. But remember, one of these Funksters is going through to the quarterfinals, so exciting. Right, who's going to start? Shall we do ladies first or gents first? I don't mind. Makes no difference at all.
I'm for that. I try to, I grew up a gentleman.
Ladies first. Is that all right with you, Em?
That's absolutely fine.
All right, so question one.
I like the yo-yo. Let's go with that.
The yo-yo. This is a stinker.
Is it?
It's a really nasty question.
Oh, rats.
How common is common sense?
My initial knee-jerk, gut-filled reaction is not nearly common enough. One of the things I shake my head over nowadays is I just say to myself, they don't have the sense they were born with. I don't know what it is that's making life so complicated now, but it just seems like, let's get back to first principles, shall we? Gravity is a force that pulls things down. If you do something silly like walking along the edge of a building, you probably will end up as a puddle on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And yet, okay, here's a little rant. People do really stupid stuff in the name of adventure. I think those people should have to pay their own medical bills. Now, Pablo, I know that in your country, people have to pay their own medical bills anyway. But in Canada, it's universal. But do I really want to subsidize somebody, dangling from a helicopter for kicks?
I don't know. But I was going to tell you something about this. When, like I said, depending when you listen to this, it could be a different stage of the lockdown. But Mr. Johnson said we've all got to be careful and show common sense. Well, that's fine. I've got common sense. Pablo's got common sense. Anne's got common sense. But a crowd of 20,000 people does not have common sense. And a social whatnot bloke on the news said, look, that's an actual thing. A crowd does not have common sense because there's always stupid people. Anyway, right, question one, Pablo.
I like that common sense question, but I feel it's an unfair advantage if I get to see it first. So I'm going to go with that dinosaur. What is that? Is that a?
That'd be, how often do you use a map?
That's funny, Jonathan, because my first question on this show last time I was on was, what do I think things will be? What kind of questions will people ask in 100 years? And my question was, what was using a map like? Because
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So nice little coincidence there. I am like everybody else. I I get in my car, I put in a direction either in my Waze or my Google Maps app, and I get there. And I think it's incredible that I remember in the early 2000s when I moved to Southern California, how I had bought this map. I started like orienting myself northwest, east, and south, and looking at the major freeways and what the major areas were, and started really trying to find my way around. And now this time around, when I moved to Jacksonville 2 years ago, that didn't even cross my psyche at all. And now that I've been here for 2 years, I'm starting to really understand. Like, I pride myself in my sense of direction, right? So I'm just now starting to really learn the areas around me, because I don't have to look at this automated device that tells me where I'm supposed to go. So I guess I'm always looking at a map, but at the same time, it's not really a map. It's just a machine that's telling me where to move while I'm, able to move around life unaware.
That's very insightful. That it's not a map. It's just a machine that tells you where to move. That is insightful. Do like that. What I can't understand is maps, like the roads around us. Some of them are like country lanes that have been there years and years and years, and you have to get a new map book every year. It says updated, but the roads are the same. I don't know. Pablo, to go first. Question 2.
Question 2. I'm gonna go with the lady with the guitar.
Where would you build your secret hideout?
That's a pass. Man, if I were to build my secret hideout, it would have to be somewhere that has like an ocean cave with really, really good Wi-Fi, where I can
at the bottom of the sea with Wi-Fi.
No, top of the sea is good. Top of the sea is good. Get some Wi-Fi in there. Make it so that I can like take a little canoe out and get to some surf break somewhere, right? There's some like good places in the north coast of Kauai that has these like little ocean caves, and when you paddle out, there's this like beautiful secluded beach with lush green mountains out there, and you can fish and you can surf and you can hike. I would say that's what I would need, plus Wi-Fi.
So you've got it. It wouldn't be an island. It would be somewhere where you've got to go access only via the sea. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That sounds all right. I was thinking like a James Bond where he climbs up that thing and you look down the thing and there's a Moonraker. Is that it? I was thinking like one of them, but no. Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
I'm more of a Popeye the Sailor than a James Bond.
And Roger Moore. Anne, question 2.
I like the little red speedboat.
The boat. Yeah. Where do you always feel a bit foolish?
Oh, Lord help. I feel foolish when I'm put on the spot with an unusual question asking me when I feel foolish.
We all have that social phobia, don't we?
Oh my gosh. It's the what's coming next thing. I always felt that forewarned is forearmed. Yeah. And here's a little story. I thought when I was around 20 that I'd like to learn how to play tennis. And my father was a very good badminton player. So I said, Dad, I'd like to take some tennis lessons. He said, sure, why not? I said, well, I don't know how to play tennis, so I'll look stupid. And he kind of did one of these and said, Anne, you're going to take tennis lessons so that you learn how to play tennis. You don't have to know how before you take the lessons.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And that sense of needing to know before I learn is a real drawback sometimes.
I never thought about that, but that's insightful.
Feeling that being laughed at is the worst possible thing that could happen. So of course I go on stage and I love doing comedy where people laugh at me.
Yeah, but you've got some character. You've got a character. It's not you.
Exactly.
You've got something around you.
Yes.
It's that the paradox of knowledge. What?
What's funny is when we were kids, not being good at something was never something that we were just so like we're so used to not being good at stuff. Yet as adults, we get so like entrenched in the stuff that we're good at and that feeling that we know what's going on that we now feel foolish when we're learning something. We forget that it's part of the process, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I just wrote something down, but I can't read my writing, so I can't tell you.
I used to work in a pharmacy. Just put it up to the screen. I can probably read it.
Okay. Question 3. Anne?
The Swiss Army knife.
What would you invent?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, what would I invent? I tell you what I would invent. I would invent a new system for sizing women's clothing.
Right.
Men?
Okay. Neither Pablo nor myself have much experience of this, so you'll have to give us like a 1-minute guide.
Explain. Imagine to yourself, you are a man going in to buy clothing.
Yeah.
You have a 34-inch waist and your inseam is 32 inches long. So you buy a pair of trousers that's a 34, 32, you take them home, it's, the end. It fits, you're happy ever after.
Yeah, sounds right, yeah.
A woman goes into a clothing store and buys a piece of clothing. It doesn't fit. She takes it back. Because you can be a size 0, you can be a size 8, you can be a size 12, you can be a size 16. It's meaningless. It's based on absolutely no physical measurement.
So it's just what would the invention look like? Would it be like a...
It would just be a system. It would be, I would just reinstate a system of clothing sizing for women based on measurements.
This would cover the whole world or just North
Absolutely.
America or just the whole world? So
everything.
Yep. Any clothing designers listening? You've got it coming to you, Renan gets the...
That's it. Don't make me come over there.
No, we don't want that. Pablo, question 3.
Give me some of that delicious food there on the left.
This food, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which word do you always spell wrong? And we all have these.
Oh,
I have loads.
disappointed. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Does it have 2 S's, 2 P's?
Two P's.
What's going on with disappointed? I'm always disappointed in myself whenever I have to spell it out. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, man. Does that happen to anybody else?
Is it necessary that you spell disappointed wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a shot right now. disappointed. I really don't know if it's 2 S's or 2 P's still.
Those words that you write down and they look wrong.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? Necessary, disappoint, continuous, right? And then the little American English thing comes up and says, no, wrong, that's not right. License.
Yeah.
And some words that look normal, if you look at them long enough, they just start to look weird. Like
change.
Like closet, closet.
Closet, yeah. Yeah, CLOSET. Is that right?
Yeah, but it looks weird if you stare at it.
Right.
I'm with you. That happened to me last week.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, license. Has that got 1 S, 2 C's? Is it American? Is it British? We don't.
Who knows?
The driving license out and see what it says. Is it Pablo? Question 4.
I think so. Give me that beautiful landscape. I'm into that. Looks like Canada over there, huh?
Canada, maybe Sweden or Switzerland, sorry.
Yeah.
When was the last time you told yourself off?
All the time.
Gosh.
Yeah. I really believe that voice inside your head is the meanest person that you allow inside your inner circle. And I think it's a really human thing, and it's something for all of us to understand that when somebody errs the same way that you err, you are very likely to show them compassion, tell them, hey man, hang in there, really it's not that bad, blah, blah, blah. Yet when you do it yourself, you are very prone to just saying, what's wrong with you? Are you an idiot? Like no one of your capacity understands this. And I'm constantly find myself in my head doing that to myself. And I'm just really, really working on inner kindness and understanding that whatever I'm doing, it's still just a work in progress. And my future self is not the person that I am today. So take it easy on that guy today so that you can enable him to succeed in the future the same way that I would anybody else that I care about.
There's a very good book by a guy called Dr. Steve Peters called something like The Chimp Paradox. And he says that we've all got these little voices inside and it sits on your shoulder and you give it, and he advises like lots of high performing athletes and singers and all those kind of, he says, give it a name. Give this person a name, like you got Steve talking to you, you got Des or whatever talking to you. And very good book, The Chimp Paradox. And he calls it the caveman instinct. That's gonna, you did that wrong, you fool, you did that wrong. He calls it the caveman type of thing. That instead of trying to reason. Anne's looking thoughtful on that one. You've got to put on that. No?
Yeah, actually, I call mine the censor.
Censor.
The censor. Yeah. It's like, are you doing this properly? Are you being socially acceptable? Blah blah blah. And then I just go to the censor.
Question 4, and it is Anne, I think.
I absolutely have to have the saluting gentleman.
When you look through a telescope.
Oh, well, do binoculars count?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If binoculars count, then it was yesterday morning, and I stepped out. We were up at the lake in Muskoka, and I stepped into the living room, which is almost all glass at the front, and in the lake was a lump. And I thought, what is this lump? I didn't have my glasses on. So I went and got the binoculars, and it was a merganser, which is a type of duck that we have here in Ontario that has a wonderful sort of 1950s coif thing at the back. You know, his feathers are slicked into this wonderful point at the back of his head, like that. Gorgeous bird. And he was just sitting there in this little, you know, concentric rings that he had made. The rest of the lake was a complete mirror. It was exquisite, this gorgeous creature. And I just said, oh, thank you. There's so much abundance.
How far away was it?
He was, I'm not good at distances. He was probably maybe 100 feet. Yeah,
Right.
he was at the end of the yard and then right close to the shore. It was just the amount of beauty that suddenly astonishes you.
That's true. Yeah,
It just gives me shivers.
binoculars are superb. Yeah, all right, that's okay. So, question 5, and to go first, I believe.
Oh, I have to have the push pins.
Pins. Why?
Yes. Because they're so colorful and beautiful.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I just thought.
And they're all lined up, beautifully organized. So
You're
it's
obsessive
organized
compulsive. You're obsessive
chaos.
compulsive disorder.
Organized chaos.
Yeah. Who is your deputy?
My deputy. Well, it's funny. I got a story for this because first I should answer the question. I guess it's my husband. He's sort of the one who says, Anne. You know,
Yeah.
he's like the governor on the engine.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
A friend of ours calls herself the sheriff of the world
Good. I like
because
it.
she'll see somebody else's child misbehaving and say, hey, what do you think you're doing there? Right? And the parents of the child are going, what? So I was always a bit that way myself. It's like, they're not doing it properly. So, you know, I know best what's best for everyone. So my husband kind of nudges me in the ribs and says, Anne, yeah, relax. In 50 years, nobody's going to remember or care.
That's true. Yeah.
So
true.
yeah, he's the voice of reason for me. And sometimes I return the favor.
In 50 days, in 50 hours, nobody will know or care what that child.
Oh, I hope that what we do lasts a little
yeah,
longer than that. My ego would like to be remembered a bit longer than 50 hours.
What's that? This time, 2 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
question
Wednesday,
5.
y'all have forgotten.
Yeah, well, I forgot. Pablo, question 5.
And I promise to remember you past Wednesday.
Oh, bless you, Pablo.
Give me that house, John.
The house thing, large house. That's the picture. Who's your favorite author?
Oh, man, my favorite author, I've traditionally said that it's Mark Twain. And it's because I just loved, when I read the book Huck Finn, I was just blown away by the idea that a grown man could somehow inhibit the mind and the thought pattern of a child that is whatever Huck Finn's age was, right? I picture him somewhere like 10, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, 10,
And I just related so much. You know, I often call myself a 39-year-old Huck Finn in the sense that it's just like a wheeling, dealing, talking, and, you know, you're generally a nice guy, but somehow you end up getting your way and it's other people doing your work for you. And it really brings me back to this idea that people don't connect with people that they understand. They connect deeply with people they feel understand them. And when Mark Twain was able to really inhibit that mind of exactly how I felt when I was 11, 12 years old, you know, in a different time and space and in history, it has really always stuck with me.
The thought of being a 12-year-old boy is probably timeless.
Yeah, you know, you look back at those times, it's like the world was so simple and your friends were so pure and, you know, I don't know, man. I really look back fondly in the memories of my social circle of like my 4 little best friends when I was that age.
Okay, so That's the end of the show. So we are looking for the Funkster to go through to the quarterfinals. Now, I can't say who's won. What you need to do, dear listener, is to tell us who's won. And you can do this by doing one of two things. You can join in the Twitter poll, which is below, somewhere around where this episode is, or leave a comment on this blog post with who you think should go through and win and why. And so two people to vote for. One of them will be going through to the quarterfinals, and one of them we might see back as a sheriff. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. Anne, how can we contact you and find out more about you?
You can reach me at my website, which is antie.ca. That's ANTIE.ca.
Good. And ANTIE.ca. And Pablo, how can we find out more about you and connect with you?
Well, like you said, Connect with Pablo. That is the name of my business. It's the name of my website, connectwithpablo.com. It's my Instagram feed, Connect with Pablo. Twitter is ConnectWPablo because it was too long. And I would love people to check out my podcast, The Chief Executive Connector, which is I just relaunched season 2. And it's a living document of me networking through life and how I learn from people and how I connect to people and how you can always learn and grow when you surround yourself with great people.
Fantastic. Anne and Pablo, thank you so much. And we'll see one of you in the next round. Thanks so much and speak soon.
Thanks, John. Good luck, Anne.
Bye. Thanks, you too.
Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. I have a few people you might want to share it with. Your partner, your parents, your grandma and granddad, your neighbours, your hairdresser, your tea lady, your gym instructor, your swimming coach, postman, the bin man, your cat, your dog, Father Christmas, Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin, Cristiano Ronaldo.